I think it would cause more damage. What I would say to you is that I don't think that he seems to be doing that at the moment, which is good. And maybe he's said enough. Maybe he's kind of got it off his chest. Maybe he has nothing really much more to say because he hasn't had much to do with his family since then. He came over for the coronation. He came over to see his father when he was ill. He's been in England a few times with things like the Invictus Games and one or two other things, but he hasn't had any relations with the royal family. He hasn't been to see them. He hasn't seen his brother. As far as we know, he hasn't talked to his brother. What else is he going to say? I mean, he would do well to, think of the future and try to build bridges rather than burn any more bridges, I would have said. So I mean, I think it's quite good that he isn't saying things like that. I mean, we're pretty fed up with all that. People, even in America, where the Sussexes are more popular than over here in England, I don't think that some guy in the middle states of America appreciates a man who slags his father off in a book, and his family. I don't think they like that. You just don't do that sort of thing. People always regret it, to be honest. The king has a lot of other things on his mind, of course, because one, he's not very well. He has a lot of political issues to deal with, diplomatic issues, military issues, all sorts of things he has to think about. And I get the impression that he has rather put the Prince Harry business on the back burner. If Prince Harry pops up, he will obviously deal with it. And I don't know to what extent there's been any kind of, discussions about this and that between them. But by saying nothing, he makes it much easier for Prince Harry to reconcile. I said it many times before. People can always reconcile if there is a willingness to compromise. That has to be on both sides. And I think the king has behaved in an exemplary way. He hasn't told us anything. He hasn't responded at all. I mean, we haven't even had wonderful remark like the Queen put out, recollections may vary. Nothing has come out from him at all. Nothing. So that's very generous of him, I think, and very, very sensible. And it looks as though, if I'm being fair to Prince Harry, that he at the moment he's not doing that either. So maybe if time passes and things cool down, people's memories are short. I mean, I know it's all there on the record, but these things can change. I mean, your viewers and readers won't probably remember that 1994, Prince Charles himself put out a book with Jonathan Dimbleby in which he criticized his parents and the way he'd been brought up quite a lot. And that was considered to be very unattractive. People have forgotten about that now. That's all in the past. I've been thinking about it a lot recently. There seems to be a possible move that he might go to live in Portugal. And, thinking about the other thing that might happen to him is that President Trump might decide as a sort of slightly cheap shot to chuck him out of America on account of his visa application and his drug record and so forth. It's a sort of, I mean, again, President Trump's got a lot more. Future and past President Trump has got a lot on his mind. He's got a lot of other much more important things to deal with, like Russia and Ukraine and all the other things that are happening in America. But it would get a lot of publicity if he did that. And the line that he could take would be, well, we don't want him getting preferential treatment. And Trump also has gone on record as saying he knows that Prince Harry upset his grandmother, and President Trump is a great admirer of the Queen. And so for that reason, he might decide to do that. Now, if they go to live in Portugal, this is what I've been thinking about. This is rather a good move because, first of all, it's in Europe. It's in Europe. It's a little bit closer to home. It's closer to what he might be doing with the Invictus Games. And also, significantly, it's very close to where his favorite cousin, Princess Eugenie, and Jack Brooksbank live. And so, therefore, taking a really long view, his children could get to know their children. And by that route, down the line, many years hence, could perhaps also get to know George, Charlotte, and Louis, which, of course, who they don't know at all at the moment. Well, we're told he's bought a house in Portugal, south of Lisbon. There's been a lot of stuff in the papers about that, and so it may not be true, but I think it is true. And he may just want an extra home, but it may well be that he's preparing for the possibility that he has to leave Montecito. I don't know. It's just a thought.